What issues I try to raise awareness to, I can divide it into three. So the first one has to do with place histories in the urban area. And it started off with my research on a demolished portion of Kampung Glam. And then I moved on to Kampung Glam itself. And then I expanded that to look at the area of the historic Singapore town in its multi-ethnicity and diversity. And I do this because of my concern for the fact that we have reduced it to racial blocks. So we understand it today as Chinatown, Little India and Kampung Glam. Kind of Chinese, Malay and Indian formula, the CMIO as we know. I look at it in terms of the urban mosaic perspective. So it's a lot more diverse both within the conservation districts, it's not mono-racial, and beyond it that there are places that we neglect. Along with a few friends, I set up this Singapura Stories platform. So it's got an online presence. It brings together, in many of these seminars, former residents of demolished settlements because their stories are not heard. And this goes back to my concern about having singular stories about ourselves, that we misunderstand things in our midst when the people who know better are still around. And there have been many others before me and they inspire me in what I do. We can't run away from an important group that is often forgotten today. It's called SPUR, S-P-U-R, Singapore Planning and Urban Research Group. And at the helm are many people. Among them, we still have William Lim and Tay Keng Soon, and they're still very much a part of civil advocacy. They set it up in order to respond to certain state policies with regard to the built environment. For example, the most famous one is Changi Airport. It was their advocacy that resulted in the relocation to Changi because Paya Lebar would be too congested. This is a very significant milestone which people seem to have forgotten. Another one has to do with the proposal to convert Collier Quay into a highway, which would have cut off Fullerton as well as Clifford Pier. So today it would be unimaginable. Imagine if a highway, an expressway were to run through that. So their civil advocacy work had a significant impact on the urban landscape. The other thing is, of course, that they worked as a group with initially civil servants within that group. And if you read Tay Keng Soon's account, he was talking about an earlier period when civil servants and people working in the private sector had a much closer relationship, when civil servants could express private individual views. Of course, that was stopped. The group was disbanded in 1973. So to me, this episode in Singapore's civil advocacy when it comes to the urban environment is an important chapter, but a truncated one. We need to go beyond stereotypes we have of each other and stereotypes that we have of our role in the city, our role in architecture and place, and the relationships we used to have with each other.